Bossy, president of AgResource Company, joined by Dr. Bill Tierney, our director of research, and we're here to talk to you about world wheat in the upcoming growing season. Now, we all know the world has an abundance of wheat. World wheat stocks are the largest on record. Bill, I'm really curious, what's going to happen in the year ahead?
Well, we have, luckily, some fundamental information. The winter wheat crop is the dominant crop growing in the northern hemisphere. We've got a pretty good idea what area seeded is. In the United States, it's at a 60-year low, I think, second lowest on record. In Russia, which is the world's largest wheat exporter, it is at a record level.
Record high or record low?
A record high,
okay.
Record high. So it's the contrast between the two. If you take a look at all the major producing countries and you sum it all out and you use trend yields, it looks like wheat production, global wheat production this year is going to be down anywhere from 5 to 6 million metric tons. That's about 1 to 2% from last year. However, we also think that consumption, particularly feed consumption, and imports are going to be down. So we start off the year with record large stocks, slightly smaller production, slightly smaller use. So we get a scotch increase in ending stocks. So it looks like ending stocks next year will be record large or nearly as large as this year's record.
So the only way out of the supply dilemma or stocks dilemma that we have today would be adverse weather somewhere for a major producing country like Europe, the Black Sea, China, or Canada, or somewhere in the northern hemisphere.
Well, that would help, but the fact that you've got record ending stocks probably takes a lot of the steam out of any enthusiasm that could occur if you have a short crop. There is one thing to note, however. Of the record stocks that we have, over 100 million metric tons, about 47% of it is in one country. Guess which country, Dan?
We know it's China. So
it's China.
And it's not available to the world market.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
So.
But of the major exporters, of which China is not counted, they still have very large stocks, and their stocks are projected to grow for the 5th year in a row. In fact, if they achieve the level that we think they're going to be at, they could be the largest in some 10 years. So if we have trend yields, we're looking at more downward price pressure next year.
So the world wheat market today, ex the Black Sea, which is trading $192 to $194 a ton, maybe there's a few upside dollars of potential, but we believe, because as we get closer to the new crop, farmers will be more aggressive sellers, that the upside is limited. And maybe that's why, as we've had all the tender business of the last week and at least the week forthcoming, the market hasn't budged much. Would you agree with that? Or?
Well, I'm never very good at explaining why the market did what it did, but if you assume trend yields, which is about all we can do at this time, I think the risk is much more to the downside than to the upside.
But wheat prices have already been at decade lows. We bottomed out in Chicago here at about $3.60 a bushel last
10-year
September.
Lows. Yeah.
Is it possible we go to 3.5 or 3.25? Or
well,
what would you think would be the
USDA in their
downside?
own baseline projection is forecasting prices to be almost unchanged, but they have a slightly different balance sheet than we do. So right now, at least the way I look at it, and again, assuming trend yields, I think that we're not going to see a catastrophic drop in prices, but I think anywhere from, let's say, 20 to 30 cents on average lower prices next year than what we had this year.
And not good for the U.S. wheat farmer with the seedings that's so low. My name is Dan Bossy, joined by Dr. Bill Tierney. Thank you again for listening. We'll be back again.